that cannot be matched.
Hey, how's it going? Did you eat lunch? Yes, my first bonfire here at this house that I recently bought in September. This is pretty cool. I like bonfires a lot. It's February, and I got some wood over there in the shed, which is pretty cool. It was just there already from the previous owners, I guess. Oh fuck, I just hit that, sorry. Okay, let me just see here one sec, folks. Now, I got some shit going on, hang on a sec. All right. This is all, I got some shit going on. Yeah, these videos, I don't know if I said that I was gonna do one a week of these vlogs, you know, maybe I did. I apologize if I did. Corona 0. But they're taking me a while. There's just too much shit going on. I'm also trying to make ASMR videos and too many clips to put together, too much editing. This is probably gonna be a long video. I have no idea what kind of wood this is, by the way. Yeah, but you know, for instance, for this vlog, for the resources, I was going to, I went to the grocery store. You know, I think I put this on the beginning of the video. I did that shoveling because the pathway wasn't shoveled, and around here it wasn't shoveled with snow, and that almost killed me. I'm 37, and probably when I was 19, I would have thinking, or 18, that would have been no big deal. That was a big deal. That was pretty tough, but cheers. Hang on a sec, the viewfinder's all backwards. It's not even prepared, fuck. But, is that good? That's good. Pretty positive bonfire, as my friend would say. friend Tyler. But yeah, so let's see what's going on here. I'm also going to be doing something that I would not recommend people do. But I don't know. First, you know, because it's so addicting, of course. Smoking a cigar. But first bonfire of the house. So just put this here 1 sec. My legs kind of get. Put this wrapper away in the fanny pack. Doesn't get all fucked up. Doesn't litter. Don't litter. You know, I shouldn't. Hang on. Yeah, I think you're gonna try smoking cigars or cigarettes just once or something, and that's gonna be the end of it. I don't know. You probably will be tempted to do it in the future. That's how addicting it is. I do like the nicotine rush. Something about smoking I do like, but let's see here. I got this. Hopefully I have enough battery life left, but let's see what's going on. I got my notes here. Yeah, it's good that her mental health is okay. That's good. Yeah, I mean, you might already notice I'm not on medication right now for mental health. A while back I was on, not too long ago, antipsychotic, antidepressant. I just wanted to say, one thing I was going to say about it is that I think one of the symptoms of the antipsychotic was, hang on a sec, is that coming through the shot? Yeah, it is. Okay, that's good. The bonfire. Oh, okay. The antipsychotic, one of the side effects there is sedation, I think. Kind of makes you lazy, I think. And it definitely wasn't all the medication's fault, but it was also my fault, but I had a hard time getting my dishes done. I would get them done, but, you know, leave them there for a day or two sort of thing, and pretty gross. Didn't always shower every day. Yes, pretty gross. Well, yeah. No offense to somebody who doesn't shower every day, but yeah, I'm much better at this now. No, if you're on medication, wouldn't let that stop you from, you know, doing your dishes, being productive, and cleaning yourself and stuff. But you know, but it's good. No, I'm on top of it now. Really, I'll do dishes maybe twice a day, sometimes once a day for sure. Shower every day. Brush my teeth every day. Hang on a sec. I just want to see here. Yeah, for on another note, just starting a bit of the weight loss journey. Been fucking up here and there, but you know, been doing it. My goal is to lose 2 pounds of body fat per week, which is pretty much standard. 1 to 2 pounds is about standard for somebody trying to lose weight. I think you can do that in healthily. Basically, by summer, I want to get. I forget. It's February. Well, it's Valentine's Day. We'll talk later about that more in a sec. But February 14th today. By say July 1, 2026, I want to have more or less a flat stomach. I mean, probably can manage that. I'll throw up a video right now of the scale, and which was a recent weigh-in for me, maybe 2 days ago. It's pounds, and then show a video also of me with my shirt on, you know, my body fat situation. Hang on a sec. But it's good stuff. Let me just see here. Yeah, I don't run back taxes. You know, that's my thing. I actually got a fan question from the answer. I don't normally do this, but from John Guy 2098, true story. He says, I'll read it to you. Matt, I have a girlfriend and she lifts weights all the time. And right now her muscles are bigger than mine. And, you know, she's been hitting the gym all the time. One of those girlies. He says he hasn't been hitting the gym too much. And he's worried. He says that they've kind of come to an agreement that he wants to throw her around in the bedroom a little bit. And he says, I don't know how I'm going to do that, considering she might be stronger than me. And I, so what are your advice on that? And I said, well, right now I'm finding myself in a bit of a situationship, I would say, with a similar situation. You know, I would say, you know, and it hasn't definitely gone to that point yet. Has ended up in the bedroom, but I would say that you know, you just got to go for it, John. That's the whole thing, man. Go for it. You just got to try to get it done. And you know, in my situation, like maybe you know, I might not make it out of there alive. That's the thing. If I get overpowered or something, but you know what I mean. But I mean, I don't know. It's about putting in the effort. It's about going after your goals, and perhaps you can, you know, I'm sure you'll make it out of there alive. You know, and have one hell of an erection and an orgasm probably as well. But just go for it, John. But so washing machines. My house doesn't have a washing machine or dryer, which is kind of a bummer. Right now, unfortunately, I'm doing. Yeah, my mom's doing my laundry, which is kind of embarrassing. I'm 37, which doing it at her house, which is only about very close to my house, and my mom and dad live together there at their house, and I just ordered a washer and dryer online, yeah. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be delivered till March 12th. I will say it was a bit of a bummer. They sent me an email. They're like, well, we'll deliver it. I think they said February 12th. But then they quickly sent me another email. They said, well, I mean March 12th. And so I was like, fuck. But whatever. It's not a big deal. I didn't get mad. It's one of those things. I can't guarantee, I probably shouldn't say this on the internet, but probably have my Pakistani buddy that I put in that video not too long ago, that vlog, move in here, pay some rent. Because right now I'm unemployed, unfortunately. Unemployed, smoking cigars, drinking non-alcoholic beer, but whatever. But yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, it's just, but of course, once he moves in here, if I get a roommate, you know, we don't want to be doing the thing where, I don't even know if it would work, taking his fucking laundry to my parents' house or something. So, washer and dryer is essential. The whole thing is like, I'm a strike while the iron's hot, and that's kind of my, as the saying goes, that philosophy or whatever. And I think I addressed this in another video, so I'm kind of beating a dead horse, I guess, but I didn't see it as a reality at the time of me buying a house. And I was working recently at a resort and got a promotion and a raise, of course. And I started entertaining the idea of buying a house, and then I sort of saw this one, which I thought was very nice. And decided to pounce on the opportunity. But, you know, I was previously living in an apartment, and I had $30,000 saved up from working at the resort, and I thought I was kind of rich or something, and I guess and I had also had 10,000 in our registered retirement savings plan, which is sort of like a Canadian retirement savings plan. I don't know if I think in the States you have 401k or some shit, but I also had 10 G's in there, so I thought I was doing quite well financially, and but then of course you go and buy a house, and yeah, the down payment was about $50,000, so there goes my $30,000. Parents put in $20,000, and yeah, fuck. And then you find you're out, oh wait a second, there's no washer and dryer, how am I gonna afford that? And you have to save up for that, and things like that. And then there's like the building inspector found that the living room windows were like they're functional. They're not causing problems really now, really, but they're a bit inefficient in terms of keeping the heat in or something, and so they need to be replaced. We ordered those in September. It's February now. They still haven't come to install the glass guys still haven't come to install the glass, but you know, whatever. It's not too big of a deal. But that's another thing. We put another offer in, you know, when in the process of buying the house, and we because the building inspector said that would be about $5,000 to replace those windows, and so we put another offer in, saying, you know, to the seller, saying, can you lower the price by $5,000 because the windows are kind of fucked, and they did. So ultimately, I'm not paying for the windows, but up front, I am paying for the windows, sort of thing. I already paid $2,500, half of that, out of my pocket for those, and then later on, I'll have to pay. Well, I guess once they actually install the windows, pay the other $2,500. You know, so you know, but yeah, what was I gonna say? So that's kind of what the dealio is, but you know, whatever. Yeah, it's funds are getting a little tight, but I'll figure something out. The RRSP, you know, it's unfortunate. I'll bring it up again. I keep on talking about it, but registered retirement savings plan in Canada can be great, but it's mostly for. Basically, what happened is I was thinking, because I got that raise and promotion, that I was in one of the upper, maybe not upper, but medium, whatever it's called, income brackets. And then I discovered later on that I wasn't. I was still in the lower income bracket. But the RSP, you pay taxes on the RSP, but they're deferred until you don't pay until you withdraw the money from the RSP, cash out the RSP, right? So, yeah. Now, but you earn interest off the RSP, of course, earning about 5.5% or something, you know. But there's a big withholding tax when you withdraw the money, about 10%. So that 10% is the way I see it. Maybe I'm missing something, you know. But the 10% is, of course, way above the 5.5. So you're actually losing money, but you're not losing money if you're in one of the upper tax brackets, because the RSP lowers your taxable income and puts you into the lower tax bracket, so you're taxed less, sort of thing. But what I didn't realize is that I was still in that lower tax bracket, so it doesn't work. There's nowhere to. It can't put me in a lower tax bracket because I'm already in there. So it doesn't help me. But it doesn't. It matures before I retire, though. It's a 1 year, you know, thing, and it's going to mature August 2026. That $10,000. So I'm going to cash that out then, and just pay that fucking withholding tax, whether I lose money or not, sort of thing. But use that to buy my own car, likely, you know. And I've been looking online. You can buy like a used Nissan Altima sedan, something like that, you know, for about $8,000 Canadian, something like that. So, which is a pretty good car, you know. Other cars appeal to me as well, but you know. Hang on. Yep, but let's see. It's gonna this video is gonna take a little turn for the crazy, of course, but what would a simple video be? What if it didn't take a turn for the crazy? But hang on a sec. Sarah Safari, will you be my Valentine? It's Valentine's Day. Also, I got these. I did not make them, to be honest with you. See? Chocolate chip covered strawberries. Yes. Hang on, we'll see how these taste. That's good stuff. Good time. Yeah, man. Tell you the truth, not sure totally what's going on. Tried contacting that girl about, I think, 4 times through text, various social media and things like that on my some smaller accounts that I have online. No response, Now, here's the thing, though. I don't want anybody to give her a hard time, attack her, talk shit, or no, don't do that. I'm not gonna give her a hard time, but I would say, yeah. I mean, it probably just seems like some crazy publicity bullshit, but for me, it's not really. I flew to Bali, well, it's a fling that I had in the past with a girl that, she asked me to come to Bali with her. And so I did. So the whole thing is, if there's some communication sort of thing, I'd recommend that Sarah reaches out. Yeah, I mean, I'll take out a lot of credit, fly down to wherever, go on a date, But we'll see what happens, Unfortunately, I do have to kind of put my life on hold, though, you know what I'm saying, I did try it 4 times, but again, don't fuck with her, guys, please. And girls, and girls. Hang on a sec. So, let's have another one of these real quick. And yeah, things are going okay. Been going on my walks. Think about getting back in the gym, maybe lifting some weights. That's good stuff. Unfortunately, I'm here in my fucking parents got me these shoes, and I shoveling the snow. My boots got wet, my winter boots, and I only had 1 pair of winter boots. So it was a bit cold, but hang on a sec. Okay, but I don't really know what else. Have another one of these. But yeah, I'll get. Guess I'll get into my other part of the video. Thanks for watching. Hey, more nostalgia. Can you believe it? Yeah. So we're gonna get into some stuff. But firstly, I bought this chain, this bracelet, $128 off of Amazon, and always flaunt, even if it's not expensive jewelry, I would say. But just some nostalgia, I guess. So some books firstly, and then we'll get into some old electronics, some kind of outdated electronics that used to be around that they used to use. We'll go through a few things. Graphic novels firstly, and that'll be the first category that I used to read. These are all my books, of course, and graphic novels, I guess, just I don't know, a thick comic book, I suppose, but because I was gonna, yeah, I guess so. More pages. Then we'll get into just type of books that I used to read, that aren't graphic novels, sort of like, what do you call them? Just informational books or something, I'm not sure. Then we'll get into some textbooks and different books that are assigned to me through university, through my professors and instructors and stuff. Then we'll get into books that I plan on reading soon. I haven't been reading much lately. A lot of these, unfortunately, and by much I mean at all, but and for a long time actually, but a lot of these I can't remember actually. Like I did read a lot of these, some of them I didn't read, even if it's in my category where I say that I read it, but you know what I mean? I can't guarantee that I read it, but I can't really remember too much about some of these books that I did read, but I thought I should go through it. It'd be interesting, maybe to you, to me it is too. And graphic novels. I don't know if I bought any graphic novel that wasn't on the topic of existentialism. So sort of I don't know, about existence. I guess that's what it is about. About I don't know, sadness, happiness, making it through life and sort of thing. Kind of first world problems, but still problems we can relate to, I would say. This was, I think I probably brought down near all these when I was maybe 19 years old. Or how old was I? Around that, pretty young. I'm 37 now. At the time I was a little bit depressed, and maybe this helped me relate to it a bit. And also rented out some books from, I think it was, what's that called, Millennium Library in Winnipeg. I think it was. I guess that's the name of it. But yeah, I'll get into it before. This is a pretty depressing novel. Pretty depressing title, I would say. But Cry Yourself to Sleep. Wow. Small. But small size. But yeah, it's pretty somewhat depressing, just about failures. People having ambitions, but failures in life and stuff like that, and struggles and stuff like that. And here's some artwork there. It's pretty good. Bigfoot. Graphic novel. Not sure. This is about maybe teenagers or maybe adolescents doing certain. I forget what they're doing. Yeah, again, because I didn't know what was it. Should I have read these through again and then I'd be able to explain them? I don't know, but honestly, I read this, but I can't in its entirety. But I can't really remember too much what it was about. But the artwork there. Yeah, it's good. Put this down here. Quitter by Harvey Pekar. So I should be telling so Cry Yourself to Sleep is by Jeremy Tinder, the author. Bigfoot is by Pascal Girard. There. This one's called Quitter by Harvey Pekar. Black and white. Yeah, I can imagine folks be like, you don't even, you're not giving any explanations about the novels. Oh, and the art by Quitter is by Dean Haspiel, with Lee Ridge, it says, yeah. So, here we go. With drinking some Mio, water with ice, and it's like a squirt out of a squirt container. Mix it with just concentrated drink mix, 0 calorie. It's good. Now this I do can talk about a little bit about it. Sunny Side Down. This might be my favorite book, altogether and out of any book, perhaps, by Lev Yilmaz, and it's also a collection of tales of mere existence. Yeah, this fellow, I think it started off as a web series, I believe, which is still on YouTube, and in the web series he's illustrating. Because I think he has a camera positioned, I think, underneath the glass table, I think it is. And then he's writing with like a permanent marker or something like that on some like gray, some sort of special gray paper. But basically what I'm getting at is you're seeing him illustrate the cartoons, which as he's explaining them. So, but yeah, this is I read one review of this book, and somebody said it can be a funny book. I would say that's true. It can pretty humorous. Probably if you're in a good place mentally, or maybe just happy. Not to say that being depressed or sad is wrong, but if you're in a happy place, I would say you'll probably find the book mostly funny, and it's pretty funny. But if you're probably depressed, then you probably find the book quite sad. It can be quite sad, and a lot of just it's kind of maybe not autobiographical, but just tells about different thoughts he has about his life. And the main character is him, in every cartoon. It's a collection of cartoons, and about just the struggles he goes through about learning about life and about different things, relationships, and but yeah, like I ordered this from this guy's website. I think like he probably sent it to me personally, I guess, because I think it's, or I could be wrong. I thought it was like a one-man show kind of thing, one individual show, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, I paid for the book and he sent it to me, I guess. But okay, so hang on. This is a funny one. Learn to talk badass. Yeah, hang on. But I'll read some of it to you. Okay, so even if you're not a tough kid, you can at least attempt to talk like one. Try these alternatives to commonly used phrases. I hope we will find something to do tonight. I'll be wicked pissed if there ain't nothing to do tonight. I find him to be a disagreeable fellow. I'd like to kick his head in. Would you please pass the ketchup? Ketchup, give it here. I am none too fond of this store. This place sucks ass. Oh dear, we are out of cookies. We ain't got chocolate chip shit. Yeah, and stuff like that is good. And it goes further onto places to learn badass linguistics, locker rooms, summer camp, any bus to the city. Practice makes perfect. Hey, you guys, excuse me. Translated to, use guys. Correct your grammar. For a second. And I don't know if that's showing up super well. Or a variety of testicular affirmations. That movie was blank, man. Pick one. The balls, the berries, the nads, the zesty testy, the nuts, the jewels, the meat circles, the noogies. Yeah. And keep your jive up to date, you dig? One time I said, that'll cost a load of bread. And I never heard the end of it. Ha ha ha, you hippie, bread, what a dork, bread. Golden rule, when in doubt, just say ain't whenever possible. Bread, of course, I don't know. A lot of youngsters, money, needs money. But slang. And, it gets pretty goddamn depressing really by some of this stuff, but it's good. I once saw somebody commented on his video on YouTube, and she said, well, I wouldn't really consider motivational videos, more like a demotivational video. And then I think he responded, he laughed, like put LOL or whatever, like or he said like she called him a demotivational speaker or something, and that's pretty funny. I also found that funny. Here's one, but I won't get too dark into this dark stuff, but here's one of my favorite ones. And he's the character in the white here. That's him, that's his character, and it's called Party Animal. Yep. And then, okay, well, still a lot. Midlife. Yeah, I don't know. By Joe Ullman. I think I read this, but can't really remember too much about it. Looks like a guy with a father kind of having a rough time. Some illustrations. Now, Peter Baggies, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Other Lives, says it's reviewed by Dan Close, who I think is a very popular graphic novelist. And he says, a compelling and very funny examination of the creepy duality of modern existence by a comic book, story graphic novel master at the height of his powers. Holy shit, that's very complimentary. Dan Close, Ghost World. Yeah. So, I don't know. There's some of the artwork. Yeah. I forgot if I put my camera on. There's a product showcase mode. And, when you put things close to the camera, it focuses on it. And then when you take them out, it focuses back on me, in this case, the talent. Okay, so this is probably my favorite individual who writes graphic novels, and I think I was in that Winnipeg library, and what do you call it? Lending a book. What do you call it? Borrowing a book? What is it? Taking out a book, whatever. And I took out a Joe Matt book. I think it was one Peep Show. I think maybe, I could be wrong. And that's one of his books. But just taking it to the not cashier, just the employee, working the register there. He was to sign out the books. And he's like, oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. And blah, blah, blah. And just the expression on his face. He was very enthusiastic about it. And I was like, yes. I'm doing it, taking out a good one. But Joe Matt, this one's called The Poor Bastard. And just the illustration on the front's funny. Look at this. Yeah. The girl. Yeah. But this guy, I should really just buy the rest of his. I think he died in 2023, unfortunately. And he wasn't even that old, but I should buy the rest of his graphic novels, I think, quite soon, read them. I think that'd be good. But I bought one of them, another one, unfortunately, from a bookstore, and the seams kind of fell apart there. Not really blaming the bookstore or him, but so I had to return. I just returned it and I got my money back. But I picked this up. The book's holding up fine. But this guy, I wish I had another graphic novel by him to show just how. What he does is he just basically rips himself apart. He exposes himself, his vulnerabilities, and he just lays it all out there. And I find that very admirable. And and I guess you could say probably more in this case, like if somebody does that with just text or something like that, well, I still admire that, but in this case, doing it with not just with one panel and illustration, but with pages and pages and pages, and this sort of thing. But it basically, his chronic masturbation problem, porn addiction, that sort of thing, or his how cheap he was, writing these graphic novels and not making too much money, but he's a successful graphic novel artist or illustrator, but he illustrates and he writes them, I believe, and but just being extremely cheap and but yeah, I'll show you a little bit. And so here he is in there playing with himself, and so right there, you know what I mean. So, but he's just obsessed with sex, and he also goes into many of his dating girls and it going to hell, and in his case mostly being his fault in that, for different reasons. But I don't know, the illustrations are very good, the writing's very good, and yeah, again, that to expose himself like that sort of thing, good. I'm down with it. But Too Cool to Be Forgotten, Alex Robinson. Yes. Let's see. A very inspiring quote in here by him, the author. It says, "For the loners, losers, and outcasts, may you show them all someday." Yeah. But I'll show you some of these illustrations. It's good. This Wilson by Daniel Close. I think he is the fellow who wrote that kind of review or whatever it was on the front of that other graphic novel. And yeah, so pretty much a lot of people were inspired by this fellow, I think, and his illustrations are very high quality, and the dialogue or just the writing is very high quality as well. I don't really know how to describe books that well, but yeah. But Wilson, this is a good one. Really interesting. It's about this guy. He kind of goes around and yeah, he's kind of a bit of a sad guy. He's disturbed guy, and he goes around different public places, walking around in parks and airports and all these things, coffee shops, and he almost never gets out of there without accosting somebody, which is entirely his fault and stuff, and giving somebody a hard time. Not necessarily the customer service agent, but just somebody sitting there at a coffee shop, striking up a conversation with them, and then they say something he doesn't quite like, and which isn't even offensive or anything. Most people would think, and judge by what you're reading, and then he accosts them, and he goes, and he does this in parks and wherever it is really, and then he gets he tries to get reunited with an ex-girlfriend of his, and then things take a turn for the worse, and but he kind of realizes that he's this kind of a bit of a sad guy, really. And for instance, I'll show you some of the illustrations, and yeah, so here's the lady. I think it's a stranger to him in the park. This is Wilson, of course, and the guy and main character, but the lady says to him, the stranger, she's talking about your computer's not working that well. It's broken at home and it's frustrating her. She says, they want me to download some program or something, but every time I try to do it, the stupid computer just crashes again. And he says, for the love of Christ, don't you ever shut up? So he's very rude. He's an asshole, and stuff like that. But it gets more. I should really read this again. I was for a while aspiring to write a graphic novel, but I tried drawing, but I didn't give it much effort. Tried a little bit, and I was like, I'm not good at drawing and illustrating. but I think I could be. I think it's a learned skill. I don't think it's something you're kind of born with. But I don't know if I. Yeah, I guess maybe I gave up, but well, I did. But yeah, I don't know if it's something I want to do in the future. Honestly, I have other ambitions. Not totally sure what they are at this point, but yeah, but I don't know if I want to like become an expert drawer. Put all that time into learning how to draw very well and stuff like that to write a graphic novel. But I was kind of thinking about it at the time, about a while back, and this when I bought this one, Creating a Graphic Novel, second edition, Nat Gertler and Steve Lieber, and it's also the complete idiot's guide to creating a graphic novel. Yeah, that's good. And, yeah, it's just like, I don't know, not too much. It's like an instruction manual, so it doesn't have illustrations really too much like the other ones, you know. This one, another one, I kind of took cartooning, bought this cartooning to learn how to draw step by step. Just see. It doesn't even have the authors or illustrators. But I bought this for the same reason, kind of thing. And creating graphic novels. And I kind of followed along a bit. Just the different thing, like where you, to draw a cartoon character, you can draw like a circle, for instance, for the head, first of all, and draw like a line going down to its body, and then draw the torso as an oval and stuff like that. And just getting like the basic shapes done firstly, and then changing them afterwards to more detail and stuff like that. But this illustrations, so it shows you how to draw basically. Yeah, it's good. And, but now move on to some books. I guess that books that were given to me, books that I read, books that I may have read. Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll go on to this. I have not read this book, and it's a bit disrespectful, but it's by a friend of my parents, and this book was given to me as like a gift for maybe me being born or something like that, or basically when I was a baby, I was given this book, gifted this book, and but it says, to Matthew, the guy who wrote in the book, and the happiness is finding a better way of living, all the best of health, wealth, plus happiness always. Yeah, pretty powerful. And that's my kind of philosophy on life too. Happiness is finding a better way of living. That and gratitude myself. It works a dumpster fire. There's all sorts of crazy shit going on every single day that it's probably best to try to solve those problems or get out of there, that sort of thing. I mean, otherwise it's just having some gratitude and being like, well, I'm grateful that I have a job. I can not everybody has a job, and I can pay my bills, blah blah blah, and do things I love. But if it's a total dumpster fire sort of thing, I'm not really trying to rag on my old job, but that sort of, that sort of thing. Sometimes you just have to change your environment, change things in your life, whatever it is. I find that's but also having gratitude, because you can have many high value things in life. Things can be going very well, but you can get pissed off for silly reasons if you don't have gratitude, if you're not grateful that you're eating, you have food on the plate and stuff like that. Once, I think it was an Islamic guy, where had to clean out a dirty fridge in a residence in a university, and there was a paper towel dispenser there, and we said, like, what can we clean this with? And he said, God gave us these, and he pulled out some paper towel, from that. A lot of people don't talk like that, right? God gave us, the paper towels are a gift from God. They'd be like, this is fucking bullshit. I have to go clean this motherfucker. So it's good. That's good. So I'm not going to reveal who gave this to me, but thank you. But then there's this, another gift. The author is Bill Bryson. The title is A Short History of Nearly Everything. author of A Walk in the Woods and in a Sunburned Country. Yeah. So what it was is high school, grade 12, graduation ceremony. I walked up and my biology teacher was up there. I won't say his name, but maybe I should, but maybe just to not expose people and stuff. But he said something like, he said to the graduating class something like, don't panic. And he says, I know a certain student that might go about panicking, and that worries me a little bit. And so, Matthew, don't panic, something like that. When you get out of university, don't panic with your life decisions or your ambitions, whatever it is. It's powerful, thank you. And then he gave me this, when I walked up there, get this book. And pretty much. It also meant a lot to me, and it definitely could be a bit abrasive, but wanted the best for me as well. And there's nothing wrong with working at a grocery store, but he thought I wanted more for me and stuff, and I ended up working 2 jobs after high school, part-time jobs, just to save money because I didn't know what I wanted to do and stuff like that. And he made some comment when I was delivering groceries to the school, and something like, well, it's only another 50 years of this, blah, 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 and something, and, but he kind of being a bit of, perhaps a bit of even a jerk, I might say, but he wanted me to hear that and wanted me to motivate me, and then he's like, did you read your book that I gave you? And I was like, well, I read a couple chapters, blah, 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 and he said, well, at least you tried, and stuff. Which is another jerk, sort of a jerk thing to say, but Bodhi's, it was his way of being like, read the book, buddy, come on, you can do this. It's really bad, But this, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's a good book. I got into it it's mindfulness, being present to the moment. So his kind of thinking is that if you're thinking, the mind naturally wants to think about what's going to happen in the future or past things. It always tries to do that, and you should bring it back to the present moment. Try not to think at all, basically, and to be present to the moment. That's how you find joy. And he's sat on park benches, for instance, and just thought about nothing. He just was present to the moment. He said he experienced a great deal of joy from that, and that sort of thing. He says basically being the observer of your mind. I mean, some people think that the thoughts going through your mind, that's your consciousness, that's you thinking of this bad thing that's happening, or your future worries that you have, or your past, whatever it was. But that's often not your conscious thoughts. That's just your mind rambling through different thoughts, and instead of thinking that's you thinking that, rather it's being the observer of those thoughts and being like, my mind is wandering and stuff like that. And there's some stuff that he wrote, like he said listening to loud music is bad or something like that, but no, because it's a way of people coping, about taking them out of the present moment and stuff like that, that people used to cope. And I didn't really follow that. I blast a lot of music all the time, but different thing. I don't. Sometimes I'm present to the moment. I think I kind of use it as a tool. I don't really. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but maybe I should be present to the moment all the time. I'm often thinking about my future and past experiences, and getting nostalgic and making strange videos on nostalgia and putting them online on the internet for people to see. But no, it's a good book, and Also, I remember taking a girl on a date to go hiking in a park a while back when I was like 20 years old or something. And I just read that book, right? And I remember, because another thing he said, which is interesting, is that you go to a garden that was designed by a landscape architect, and built by employees and stuff like that. And that can never be truly beautiful. Only chaotic things can be beautiful, like when you go out to nature and there's no way of us understanding why this certain plant was grown in this location and a certain other plant was grown in the other location, and all this. It's just this mess of plants in nature and things like that. But it's more beautiful than, it's chaos, but it's more beautiful than sometimes planned things. I told her that, and I don't think it was that caused me not to get her continuing to want to date me, but it was other things maybe, but I'm not gonna get into that. But it was funny, but no, it was good. Glad that happened. But now this Sex at Dawn, I did not read this entire book, but pretty crazy stuff. Just sort of about, I'll read the single most important book on human sexuality since Kinsley unleashed sexual behavior in the human male on the American public in 1948. Dan Savage. New York Times bestseller, Sex at Dawn, How We Mate, Why We Stray, and What It Means for Modern Relationships. Christopher Ryan and Kakilda Jetha. So this, I guess it's way back, I guess, in hunter-gatherer type of society, type of days and stuff like that, and how humans evolve sexually into what attracts humans and stuff like that. I don't know, to the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever, stuff like that, I guess. But I should really read this. I read a little bit of it, but finish it. I don't know. That's good. This, I did not read this entire thing. I thought it was going to be a very, very basic, very simple, no pun intended, book. It was not. It was pretty technical and in a good way. Different techniques on how to overcome obstacles in your mind and stuff. But it's by Anthony Robbins, but Tony Robinson, who's a public speaker and very wealthy and very influential. And but Unlimited Power, it's called. Anthony Robbins. I should check them. This. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I read this. I think I did, but Connected. How your friends affect everything you feel, think, and do. So it was like a lot of the books that I read, I didn't read a lot of novels. They're mostly books on self-development or business, how to improve my own life and stuff like that. Because even and I read these back when I was like fucking, I don't know, 20, 26, 25, 22, I'm not sure. A while back. This is a while back. But I think I was entrepreneurial even back then, even though I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do and what I was doing. But had that kind of some sort of drive and Connected. How your friends affect everything you do, feel, think, and do. Nicholas A. Christakis, MD, PhD, and James H. Fowler. Yeah, it's pretty okay. Yeah, different things I read books on marketing too. Decoded: The Science Behind Why We Buy. Phil Barton. Forward by Rory Sutherland. I can't comment much on this book, but believe it or not, Gary Vaynerchuk book, Day Trading Attention, How to Actually Build Brand and Sales in the New Social Media World. That's actually I bought recently, not long ago, and I have not finished. I started reading it, but it's a pretty technical book. It's not so easy. I wouldn't discourage it. It's clear, but it's pretty technical. And what about just how to succeed on social media and stuff like that. So it's a good book by Gary. Who says crazy things sometimes, as we know. But I don't know. No, it's good. It's a good book, but I'll finish reading it. But I picked this up. The Psychology of Money. I did read this recently. Morgan Housel. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, even a book that I read recently, I can't even tell you too many takeaways of it, but it's good. I like to study money and stuff like that too, and I want to make some of it. And The Way of the Superior Man, David Deida. A spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. Okay, so yeah, this is good stuff. I mean, read this a while back. I think I read this. I definitely read at least one Stephen Hawking book. I think he was a physicist and great thinker, very high IQ kind of guy. And Stephen Hawking and Leonard Mlodinow, I believe, the Grand Design, yes. So. The Power of Habit. Why we do what we do in life and business, Charles Duhigg. Yeah. Well, it's good to have good habits, strong habits. Mastery, the key. Sorry. The key to success and long-term fulfillment. George Leonard, author of The Way of Aikido. Yeah. Oh no, shit. Sorry. I know. I think this one says that I could be wrong, but to master something, you have to put 10,000 hours into it. You know. That's why, yeah. Couple Seth Godin books, who's a marketer, I guess, and marketing background or something. And this is good stuff. Purple Cow, but how to create a remarkable product. Certain things stuck with me from this one. But yeah, I mean, creating something that stands out. That's the whole thing. Is just something remarkable. It'll sell. And what you're gonna do with that duck, Seth Godin. Remember, there was that guy who wanted to borrow this off of me, and this was a pretty thick one, but that's good. That was a good book. I can't really remember what it taught me, but definitely read it. Rework, Jason Fried and David Hansen, founders of 37 Signals. Ignore this book at your own peril, says Seth Godin, actually, the guy we just talked about. Okay. I like that. That's one hell of a marketing strategy. And kind words. New York Times bestseller, Rework. Can't remember what it taught me to. Now we'll go into, I think, I will Google this. I did read the book, honestly, but I will Google it. It was a good book. I did an English class, University of Winnipeg. We studied this book, Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. I'm going to read from Google. Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood is a dystopian speculative fiction novel about a lone survivor named Snowman, formerly Jimmy, navigating a post-apocalyptic bioengineered world. It explores themes of reckless genetic engineering, corporate power, and climate change, showing how a miracle pill caused a global pandemic, destroying humanity while fostering a new, gentle species, the children of Crake. Yeah, a pretty intense book, pretty cool book. Sort of guess when things get out of hand, genetic engineering and things like that. Academic writing, that was a great course. I took that. There's different streams of it. I took the business one at university, and great instructor. forget his name. This book's called Textbook Impact: A Guide to Business Communication. 8th edition, Margaret Northey, Joan McKibben. But teach you different things like getting right to the point. For instance, in emails, you don't have to say, "I'm writing this email about," to skip that. Just get right to the point. And I would like this and this done. Or if you're not so business, not in that position or something, but I don't know. Just getting right to the point and start trying not to use the which and that. I don't know, clauses or sentences too much, which can be, not always, but someone, trying to sound a bit smart and stuff like that. Just try not to sound smart in your writing instead of making it impactful and straightforward and things like that. And try not to use too many big words, and making it easy to understand, basic, simple, stuff like that, But and this is like, not a lot of people are going to relate to the next textbook, but maybe somebody who wants to study kinesiology, or wants to be a personal trainer, or wants to be a med student or something, and this can be helpful because there was 2 books. I forget what the other one was called. The 2 textbooks. One was very technical and stuff like that, and I bought that as well for a lot of money, like most textbooks were in the bookstore. Most college and university students will know this, but I didn't like the other one, but this one is much more. The illustrations are just fantastic, and it's just much more easy to understand. But it's about human anatomy, so the structure of the human body, so the different muscles in the human body, the bones in the human body, and stuff like that. And of course, there's. I almost failed anatomy actually in university, but it was a tough course, really a tough course. My God, but like there's different names. It's not all about whatever it is, your leg muscle, your thigh muscles and stuff like that. There's technical names for the, I don't know if these are the thigh muscles, but I'll ramble off some. There's sartorius and let's just see here. Palmaris longus, flexor carpi radialis, that sort of thing, you know what I mean? But knowing the technical, I don't know if that's the right word to use, technical names for the muscles and different things like that. But this is actually a textbook like geared towards massage therapists, But even so, it was, I think our anatomy instructor, human anatomy in university, it didn't really have too much to do with. I don't think massage therapy was taught in the university. Normally, that's a private college thing, just for massage therapy. At least in Canada, it is. But she recommended this book, regardless, because of how good it is and stuff like that. And let's just see. So, yeah, something like this, and so. But the illustrations and everything, and so I would recommend. So getting off tangent, maybe it's not too much useful to a lot of people, relatable for people watching this, but it also came with these flashcards, which I think are probably the way to learn properly when it comes to academic things. And I taped the fucking thing shut. But let's forget about that. Waste time and. But yeah, just great illustrations and everything on the flashcards. So that's all that. And now just some books that can't promise I'll read all of them right away, but I'll read these soon. And I can't even guarantee that I'll read them all, but I'll definitely read some of these soon. I will teach ones was called "I Will Teach You to Be Rich." Ramit Sethi, host of Netflix How to Get Rich. No guilt, no excuses, no BS. just a 6-week program that works. Second edition, a New York Times bestseller. So we'll teach you this soon. Same as, still in the past rapper, same as ever. A Guide to What Never Changes, Morgan Housel. I think that was the Psychology of Money, I believe. Same author. Best-selling author. Yeah, well, it says right there, fuck. Best-selling author of Psychology of Money. Timeless lessons about money, life, storytelling, ambition, and satisfaction. A library's worth of wisdom. Derek Thompson, The Atlantic. William Gibson, pattern recognition. Yes, Gibson has delivered what is assuredly one of the first authentic and vital novels of the 21st century, the Washington Post book world. A masterful performance, New York Times bestseller. I think my aunt gave me this for Christmas, I think 2 years ago. Still haven't read it, but definitely into pattern recognition. And this is my mom gave me this one. Probably read this soon. The Art of Racing in the Rain. Meet the dog who will show the world how to be human. And now it's a major motion picture, in case you didn't know. I didn't know that. A novel, Gar Stein. I don't read too many novels, but New York Times bestseller. So it seems like maybe more of a relaxing read, maybe perhaps, but yeah. Now I'm not sure exactly what we'll get on to next, but we'll go on to something else in the vlog. Does that make sense? Okay. Oh, and I almost forgot to go over the electronics, the old electronics that I used to use from back in the day. Quick word about nostalgia and looking back in life. I recently saw Don Henley, who did the song Boys of Summer, and he was about to play his song. Well, he did. He played the song Boys of Summer on the Howard Stern show. And he was talking about, before he played the song, what the song was about. And he said it's just about looking back. And he has a thing about looking back. I thought this song was supposed to be about a stalker or something. I'm not going to go into the lyrics, but it's a great song. The Ataris also covered it, covered his song. And but Don Henley originally wrote it, I think. He did write it and perform the song, record the song. But I was a bit disappointed not to diss him or Howard Stern or whatever. But I just thought I thought the song was about more than just looking back, but it's good. I like looking back too, myself. I don't know, it brings back so many memories. And then it's interesting to see how your life has changed, the different decisions you made that have changed your life and stuff like that. But in this case, this is electronics, but it's still pretty cool to look back on. I think looking back, it's almost always a great thing. It can be a bad thing. Like, for instance, if you're a bit older and the whole peaked in high school thing. You were living your best life in high school, but now not so much out of high school. I think there's always time to bring it around, to change your life for the better. But stuff like that, I guess, if your life quality of life is maybe not so good, perhaps later in life, but you're reminiscing on a past experience or past era of your life, sort of thing. And you're just dwelling on that rather than improving your life, then it can be a bad sort of thing, I suppose. But I definitely like looking back a lot. But I didn't take enough pictures. Not nearly enough pictures. But we'll go into it a bit. This JVC was a popular brand back in the day. It's a video camera. It was high definition. And I'm 37 now. Bought this when I was, I think, 23 years old. And this is, by the way, what now, of course, the video cameras typically, they look just like digital cameras that you take still pictures with for some reason. But now, I think this is typically what a video camera would look like back in the day. And in fact, I've seen them recently looking in some electronic stores and stuff. I have seen cameras like this with this long body, you know. But typically this was it back in the day. This body style, for whatever reason, this long body, and this flips open. It's a viewfinder, buttons here and stuff like that, and inputs. There's a zoom up top, and yeah, this is basically my first video camera. When I was thinking about when I was aspiring to be, I'm not sure what it was. I think it was a fitness influencer at the first, because I would follow many of the fitness influencers online, you know, like Scooby and Hodge Twins and Chris Jones and things like that, people like that, and kind of Vince Monty, bodybuilders and fit guys who would show them, do videos of themselves working out, post them on YouTube and stuff like that, and give advice on nutrition, proper eating, nutrition, nutritious meals that are good for bodybuilding, high protein meals, clean eating, stuff like that. And also advice on how to be successful in life. And yeah, I found it very inspiring and stuff like that, so I made some videos on that. But I think that was the main reason I wanted to get into it, but also different things. I made videos on my thoughts on the pickup artist thing, and you know, different things like that, women and success of the women and stuff. But yeah, it's like I think about this from Future Shop, which was there's Best Buy owned Future Shop. We have Best Buy now, and I don't think Future Shop is around anymore. Could be wrong, but it was basically like Best Buy. I don't know if there's any difference, you know, and yeah, but big electronics store, chain store, buy TVs, you know, whatever else, headphones and cameras, camcorders like this and stuff, and, yeah, and this flips open too. Boom. But yeah, the sales, I was thinking about maybe not buying it, and because it was kind of a lot of money. I forget how much money it was, but didn't have a lot of money at the time. But my friend was there with me, and he said, you know, Matt, we're pretty good at saving money, and we work, and it should be okay for us to spend even a decent amount of money on things, because it's kind of our reward as we save our money. So thank you to that friend, and then the sales associate I was dealing with was very knowledgeable. He was talking very fast, but I could understand him. That's fine. But he's going on and on about the camp, not just trying to make a sale. There might have been some commission involved, so he's trying to make the sale. There's not incentive, but I think also just I just wanted me to know a lot about the camera. And he talks for so long and to use so many words that afterwards I was kind of thinking about not buying and walking out of there, but I kind of felt guilty because he put so much effort into his sales pitch, and so I ended up buying the camera not just because of his sales pitch and stuff like that, and which is very good, but because I wanted it too. Bought that in a tripod, and so yeah, it was pretty cool. And first camera, and then I got inspired by a guy on YouTube. He's a bodybuilder, and some people had this camera back in the day. It says Curtis on it. It's actually not that great of a camera, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I'm not actually sure why I bought this, because I think I already had this, which is better than this. But I guess I just got inspired or something. I don't think this was that expensive, but the resolution is not great. But And then, back in the day was this was before smartphones, and so the thing to do to play music, to walk around, the portable devices thing, to go to school with, go to whatever it is, go running and whatever the hell it is you want to like play music on when you go out and about. That was the MP3 players. I think we still have MP3 files, so MP3 just being a file type, and playing devices to store music and play music, and typically it was wired headphones, and but I guess it could be small devices. Like, it got so small at one point. There was one that was an Apple, I think it was a Shuffle, where you couldn't even really select. It would be like play at random. Like, that was how basic and small it was. It was so small that there were very few buttons, and you would just put some songs on it, and it would just shuffle the songs. Probably cheap too, but there was different things like MP3 players, just maybe small devices, and they couldn't hold that many songs, and you put songs on them and then play them with headphones and stuff like that, and pretty basic stuff. And iPods came around, which were like pretty, by Apple, and they were like bigger and chunkier. It could hold more songs, but as far as the typically what people were doing is, not all the time, like, because you could buy a CD, like, legitimately in a CD store, right, a record store, and of course take it home and then transfer the songs from the CD onto your computer, and then from there, put the songs from your computer onto your MP3 player. So you could do it legitimately, but lots of people were pirating music back then with Napster and using file share programs and stuff. Then Napster got shut down, and then came LimeWire and Kazaa and Aries and stuff like that. And I was definitely doing that too. Shouldn't have been, but it's wrong. The artists don't get the money, any money. It's sharing music for free. It's pirating free music. But as far as I was saying, that the MP3 players typically couldn't hold that many songs until the iPods started to come out, I think. But there was a solution to that, mini disc players, and that's why I never actually bought an MP3 player. Really, I bought an iPod, but I went straight for a mini disc player. So I have a Sony Walkman mini disc player here that I bought back in the day. It was pretty good. And here it is. Buttons on here, toggle from song to song and stuff like that, volume, and looks like it takes a AA battery. Of course, headphone jack. You plug your wired headphones in there. You put your songs on from your computer. Now, but the whole, again, like you do this here. Button on the side. Boom. Now comes the mini disc, okay? And you take it out. Got some songs on here. And you take, for instance, this, and I want a different one. This one I labeled rap. I have no idea what's on here though. Place this in, of course. And you can already tell that you can have a lot of songs because you can have multiple discs, of course. It's not just like a typical MP3 player where it's just the memory device, whatever it is, memory card is just built in there and you can't get it out of there. You can't do anything about it. That's how it was back. So that was good. But then the chunky iPods came out, but they weren't touchscreen. They were these thick, typically. Actually, no, that's not. Some of my friend had a very thick, chunky one, which is pretty cool. I wanted one of those, but I didn't get one. But they have slimmer ones as well. But they could hold more songs. A lot more songs. And there's different devices as well that can hold more songs, different brands. But then I finally bought this. This is an iPod, Apple iPod. It has a camera on the back, and it's kind of like a phone, but without the phone feature, you can't call really, unless you use a program like what was it? There's different applications. I think you can get an application on here. This is touch screen. You can make phone calls, but typically you can't really make phone calls on this sort of thing. But it's typically for doing videos as well. I think you get access to the internet. You can access the internet, but play videos, store videos on here. But typically it's to play songs and stuff. And you can hold quite a few songs on here. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I used to like, I think I had this wraparound sleeve with Velcro. And you pop that in there in your sleeve and it holds it there. And I had Bluetooth headphones that I bought it for working out mainly in the gym. And it was pretty cool for that. Blast music, blast. All kinds of electronic rap. And it was good. It gets you through the workout, motivates you, makes you want to finish that last set. As Lloyd Banks would say, and the rapper. But he has, it's funny, I remember when I bought this, where did I buy this? Might have been Best Buy. Could be wrong though. But a big electronic chain store, and I like the sales associate that I bought it from, and he was saying, I made some comment. I wasn't trying to interested in pirating music, but he was like, ended up going like, yeah, bro, like I know this website, blah blah blah. Excuse me, I can hook you up and with this pirating website, and I can do that for you, blah blah blah. And if you want, and he was like, I don't know, he's like flaunting or trying to impress me or something. It felt like, but I don't want to put the guy down. But no, it was funny. It was funny, and I liked it. It was interesting. And because I wasn't after that, but he was like sort of going on about this, and probably that's not what he's supposed to be doing at his job. He's talking about the illegal things like that, even though it wasn't terrible things like dealing crystal meth or things like that. But kind of wandering on a tangent, but no, it's good stuff. But yeah, I think that's about all for that. Thanks. Hey, just did a pretty big grocery haul today. Co-op grocery store and also a bit of a local pharmacy. Co-op spent $381-ish, going some change. Canadian pharmacy spent about $41. I'll show you what I got. Just made myself a glass of Mio cherry blackberry drink mix. You just mix it with water. And ice in this case, mixed stirred in. It's really good. Yep. Now, also got Mio lemonade, Mio berry pomegranate. This is 0 calories, guys. It's good for losing weight like I'm doing now. My favorite tea brand, Twinings. Honeybush, mandarin, and orange. This is good. Just the boxing, how it clamps together and shit, and how it's raised here, lettering, and the tea is very high quality. It's very nice. Pine Sol, lavender clean. Yes, great for washing floors. I normally use the regular Pine Sol, which is what is it like? Oh, I forget the scent. This, I'm trying to lose some weight. French vanilla, zero sugar, vanilla. So only 15 calories per serving, per 1 tablespoon. It's good. Hang on. Samosas, vegetable, East Indian dish. It's good stuff. This got fucked up. I fucked this up with the packet. Well, it's not too bad. It could be worse, but pickled eggs. Wait, no, sorry, deviled eggs, not pickled eggs. Fuck. Very nice. Not the best for dieting, but whatever. Sometimes I don't like to cheap out, buy the cheapest thing. I could have bought, store brand or whatever. It's no name. There's in Canada. I don't know if you have it in the United States, wherever you're from, but there's a cheaper brand. It's actually called No Name. That's the brand name of the brand. This is Bounty. The quicker, paper towel. This is the good stuff. It's strong. Doesn't fall apart on you when you clean various things. My plan is to eat eggs, to diet. I started dieting yesterday. I gained a bunch of weight. Unfortunately, it sucks. And I'm back to somewhat where I started. Yes, not good. But my plan is eggs in the morning, oatmeal for lunch with some protein powder, meat at the night. Maybe I think that'll work. Eggs to go, omega-3, hard-boiled eggs, package. And I've got 3 of them. Yes. I'm not lazy right now, unfortunately. Not a big fan of scrambled eggs. Of the way I make them, because I'm not good at making them. It's kind of an art or something to make good scrambled eggs. So I like hard-boiled eggs though. This is new. Frank's I've never seen this before. I used to eat a lot of Frank's Red Hot sauce, but they're mostly original. Sometimes they have the buffalo chicken one, but this is for wings, Nashville hot, so it might be good. I bought some wings, frozen wings. I'll show you in a sec. This is good. There's some boiled water advisory or some bullshit going on right now in the town, so the water's not good to drink. Tap water. Tap water from here, this house, is from the well, and it's not that clean, so I can't drink that. But I get in the water normally from my parents' place, fill up with a jug, and but over there it's not clean, I guess, apparently, in the whole town, I guess, for a while. So I filled this, bought this bottle and filled it up at their water station there at the co-op and the grocery store. It's not that big, but I think tomorrow the water advisory thing is going off. So I'll be able to get fresh water, my parents' place tomorrow. That'll do me for tomorrow, and I have more actually too beneath the sink. Not too much more, but water. And I like these salad kits. I do not like to buy 6 or 8 different ingredients or whatever it is, like tomatoes and the red peppers and the red onions and all these things, cucumbers, and then you have a bunch of different things, ingredients, and maybe 2 of them go bad before long, and you have to try to use them all, and you have to do a lot of chopping as well. I'm like, fuck all that shit, and sometimes I buy these salad kits, which includes dressing. This one's Taylor Farms Broccoli Crunch. Good, dude. Yes, sponges. Velita, good brand, I believe. Yes, for cleaning, of course. And milk, homogenized, 3.25%. Yes, for drinking, it's my type of milk that I like. That's good. 4 liter system, metric system in Canada, use liters. More tea. I drink a lot of tea, 2 to 3 cups a day, every day. Yeah, I like tea. Twinings, raspberry and lemon tea. This is a new one I haven't tried recently. You know why? I got it for the first time the other day. It's good. It's another good one, just classic pure peppermint, pure, yes. And it's good. I didn't buy this because of the name. Kind of intrigued me at all. I didn't think there was anything funny going on. But Simply Steamers. Just some easy meatball marinara. Easy meals to cook. Only 290 calories, actually. Not too bad, really. That's not too bad, trust me. And hang on a sec. Where am I going to put this shit? Hang on a sec. Now, another one, same thing. Gourmet Steamers. Healthy choice. I thought it was the same brand as Simply, whatever. Grilled chicken marinara. Yeah. When you're in a pinch, when you start running out of food and shit, or you just get very tired or very lazy, it helps. Throw it in the... wait. They're all healthy choice, these ones. But some of them are simply Steamers, I guess, and not others aren't. Healthy choice. Simply Steamers, grilled chicken and broccoli Alfredo. Sounds pretty good. Yes. I want to start making green smoothies again. I have a Ninja blender, you know, kind of like the single serving kind of blender, whatever it is, like the bullet, whatever they call it, instead of the big vase or jug or whatever. But yeah, so it should be good. It's healthy. And so I want to mix frozen fruit and some bananas and some frozen spinach, likely. Fruit medley, yes. Looks like peaches, frozen fruit, strawberries, blueberries. Yeah. Oh, gold. Gold is like Co-op is grocery store in Canada. Maybe medium size, you know. They're not as big as a Walmart, you know. What do you call it? What do you have there in the? I don't know what you have. Definitely not as big as like a Walmart, you know, or a superstore. Superstores can eat too, but it's a chain of grocery stores. But yeah, there's Co-op. I think there's what is it? Co-op Gold is like their premium kind of store brand, and then there's another one that's cheaper, but you know, whatever, not so good. No, not as good. It's good, but not as good. Yeah. Tropical blend, frozen fruit, blueberries, pineapple, strawberries. It's good. Oats. Yeah, I want to make oatmeal. It's filling. It's quick to make. I boil some water in the electric kettle. It takes 2 minutes or whatever. Especially these quick oats. Yeah, pour some hot water in there. Put up in a bowl. Put a plate over the bowl. It's better if you actually have a Tupperware, of course, with the proper lid. So pour the water in. Put the plate over the bowl, whatever. Let it steep, and in a few minutes it'll be done. And mix it with some protein powder, protein, carbs. You know, carbs from the oats, of course. And I don't know about quick oats, but oats generally a complex carb, slow digesting carb, energy for a long period of time. You know, let's put this on the ground, kind of shitty because the floors could use a mop, whatever. No room on the. I'm putting on chairs. What I'm doing, you know, they're turned around. I have 4 chairs next to this table, and putting the groceries on there to, of course, the ones I've talked about already, get them out of the way, and so don't redo them. Last thing I want to do is take up your time. That's not the whole. I mean, I love doing that, but you know what I mean. Clubhouse chili seasoning mix. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look around too hard. The spice, not to insult the grocery store, the spice selection didn't look great. I think the grocery store is great, that one, but I don't know if I was looking in the right place, you know. Maybe it was just like one of these sections where they have some of the spices, but the bulk of the spices are in a different location. But yeah, but no offense to anybody who used to work there. When I worked at that grocery store when I was, I think I was 17 years old or something. Maybe a bit when I was 18 years old, maybe for a little bit, but basically when I first graduated from high school, I didn't really know what I was going to do. So I started working at a restaurant and as part-time, and in that grocery store, stocking shelves, sometimes ringing through the cash register, delivering groceries. You know, because some people you could deliver groceries to, some people would be eligible, like some elderly or disabled persons, or this lady were at a daycare, so she was very busy, the kids running around, and yeah, that was an experience, and saved a bunch of money. Then I went to university, and you know, so let's pay for that. But I was gonna say, yeah, but when we ran it, well, I didn't play a huge role, but yeah, it's way better now. It's just the selection, and all the foods they actually prepare in their deli there, like the deviled eggs. There's much more of that, and so it is a lot of competent people worked there when I was there and stuff. But you know, I fucked up a lot. Some ways that was good, but now it's just way better. It's so good, but I actually applied for a job there maybe before I got the job at the resorts. I was like 4 years ago, and I applied there first, doing for like whatever job. What was it? Stocking. I don't know. I forget. Maybe cashier, and didn't get the job unfortunately, but that's okay. Bubbly. You know what this is. 0 calorie, 355 milliliter, sorry, canned soda. Subtle flavor. This one I don't think I tried before. Raspberry, Raspberry. Canadian, eh? So it's good. They're coming up with new flavors often. I like it. I don't like running out of soda. I like to drink soda. Some sort of thing. Yeah, now I have a lot. I have Mio and I have the soda. I like to drink flavored things that are low calorie as well. That's 0 calorie. But Budweiser, 0 alcohol beer, yes. It's good. Yeah, I like the non-alcoholic beer. Corona, 2 cases. Corona Zero, or whatever, Zero, I guess, but it's like Spanish or something. Which is a 0 alcohol beer. Also, I'm not sure how many calories are in there. Anyways, but let's, okay, hang on. Okay. 60 calories. Yep. Chicken wings. Hells yeah. Make these in the air fryer with that hot sauce that I bought and that I showed you, Frank's Red Hot Sauce. Yeah. Caffeine free, no sugar, Diet Coke, It's pretty sweet. Because yeah, Diet Coke used to be definitely the only kind, maybe they still have it, but the only kind they had before was with caffeine, of course, which I don't like to drink late at night. I'm sensitive to caffeine. It keeps me up all night. My sleep schedule is more or less okay now. I'm waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning right now, or earlier, which is cool. Maybe I'll wake up earlier, but yeah, it's cool. But I remember drinking that on fishing trips, Diet Coke with caffeine, when I was like fucking 8 years old or something. I used to drink a lot of them because this couple that took me on the fishing trips loved Diet Coke as well. By the way, they smoked a hell of a lot of, to go on a tangent, smoked a hell of a lot of cigarettes as well. And yeah, well, that's pretty crazy. I don't want to no, I love them. It's nice to take me fishing, but chain smoking in that little trailer there, and I was in. I don't want to blame them, but it was pretty crazy. But there's, inhaling that. Cherry Coke in cans, 0 sugar. It's good. 12 Cokes in there. Love that. Lysol disinfecting wipes. I was into this for a while, this sort of thing. I don't know about this brand. Lysol's a good brand, but back whatever it was 5 years ago, I started putting out those ASMR videos online and I'd use it to clean my desk. It's nice to keep a clean workstation. It helps. And I don't know. Yeah, it just helps with yeah, I don't know how to explain it. But hang on. Monster 0 Ultra. I was drinking Rockstar for a while, but Monster, this is good. 0 Ultra, White Rockstar, Monster. Very popular, 4-pack, I usually drink, when I wake up in the morning, I usually like to just drink an energy drink right away, and immediately get the coffee. I have the coffee maker usually with the coffee grounds in there ready to go, with the water in there already. Press the brew button, right, just to get it going. And lay out 2 coffee cups, put a little bit of that, like that coffee creamer that I showed you. Put that in those cups, get it ready. And but in the meantime, drink the energy drink, out of the fridge in there. It's good stuff. Get some caffeine going. So I drink a hell of a lot of caffeine. You know. So if you're wondering why you saw that vlog, I think the first one I did in a while with the 2 coffee cups, what the hell that was about. That was me just drinking 2 cups of coffee there. No reason I'm adding that in, no reason. But, okay. I don't know what was going on with the pork chop situation. There wasn't any of the, I didn't know the cut actually. I didn't know there's so many cuts of pork chops. I think these are cuts of pork chops that I got. But I was looking for, I guess, sort of a standard one. But I don't know if it didn't seem to have it. So I ended up getting like 3 different kinds. But, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, my favorite meat is probably lamb. That with some mint sauce. Lamb sauce. Gordon Ramsay, where's the lamb sauce? That's funny. Have you seen that meme online? But but I really like pork chops. Probably more than beef. But I like beef. Any type of meat, really. I like chicken. Really, I don't think there's a type of meat that I don't like. Even in China, we ate a hell of a lot of strange meat. It was just common there to eat the entire animal. Like, drink condensed chicken blood into cubes. Eat that. Cow brain. But that wasn't all the time. It was just sometimes. Normally I'd eat regular type of meat, but intestines. Oh, things like that. Anyway, but this is Canada, of course. You got the more traditional pork loin. Okay, so pork loin, rib chops. Yes, that's good. Then these pork loin center chops. Yeah, see, with my previous vlog, like, you could just freeze the meat, in individual bags, Ziploc bags and shit, and keep it. That way you don't run out of things to eat, if you use the freezer properly, and because things last so long in the freezer, Pork sirloin chops. Hang on a sec. Sorry about that fridge being so loud. But I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, bananas for the green smoothies. Bananas. I like to wait until they're fucking spotted, basically. Brown spots on there before they're ripe. I don't like to eat them before then. That's when they're the sweetest. But, hang on. More Monsters. They just had these. They didn't have these in the 4-packs like the other one. Monster Zero Sugar. Ultra Strawberry Dreams. Yes. Yeah. I don't know what that... Oh, I never have that. I haven't had Monster in a while, I say. At the resort there, I was ordering packs. I was in charge of the Pepsi order for the resort. And Rockstar's Pepsi product, energy drink. And you could order some for yourself or the staff. Take it off their paycheck, take it off my accountant would take it off my paycheck. So I'd order 12 packs and I just didn't ever. But of course I'm not working there anymore. But I might buy more Rockstar next time I go to the co-op or whatever, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so I haven't had Monster in a while. Monster Ultra Blue Hawaiian. These are all zero sugar, which is good. I'm trying to lose weight. Even if I'm not trying to lose weight, the full sugar hurts my teeth, which I need to go to the dentist soon. But Monster Ultra Peach Keen, zero sugar. Good. 2 more things from the co-op grocery store, and we'll go on to the pharmacy, which will be very quick. So just a few things. Crest 3D white toothpaste. Yes. Ziploc 75 freezer bags. I had a hard time judging the size of these, I just, because I basically want them for the pork chops to put them in the freezer. That's about it. Hopefully they're big enough. Whatever. I'm not going to take it back, I guess, if I open it up and find that the bags are too small, whatever. Give them away. But now we'll go on to the pharmacy stuff, which I spent at a different store, and of course, spent only about $45, and just got a few things. I'm running low on soap already, so I got Dove, my favorite shea butter soap, 3-pack bar soap. Yeah, I'm not big into liquid soap too much anymore. I don't know. I find that the bar soap tends to lather better. There's a few more things. Hang on a sec. Soft soap, creamy moisture, warm vanilla, and jojoba oil. Good body wash soap. It's good to my feet. 5, I might do an ASMR video soon with gum chewing. I haven't done one of those in a while. I used to be all about the gum chewing ASMR videos. A lot of people really like it. People have said, you know, I should bring it back, and so I might do that. Planning one hell of a video, maybe this evening, that I might do. We'll see what happens. Do it soon. Do some sort of video soon. Maybe do the gum chewing, maybe not. But you know, it's good because it doesn't distract you when you're doing a role play or something, which I've done before. I think I tried to do some sort of credit card, or I did. So I think was it a credit card role play ASMR video, and I was like eating some chicken wings or something like that, and talking about credit cards, and like, shit's kind of ridiculous, you know, because who would an actual employee at a bank would be eating some chicken wings? I guess I probably would if I was working in the bank, but you know what I mean. And even that, it slows down your explanations and stuff like that when you're like, hang on a second, you're chewing on a chicken wing, but the gum helps you just freely kind of go ahead. Ibuprofen, yeah. Basically Advil, yes, liquid gels. Yeah. One time at a pharmacy, not to fuck with Advil or anything, but a pharmacist said to me once, he's like, you know, there's no difference really at all between Advil and ibuprofen. And he said that's gonna sound bad, but it should be illegal. Well, yeah. Well, I'm gonna say it anyway, but I know I buy Advil sometimes, but it's like it almost could be illegal, the Advil. And I'll probably get sued and probably get thrown in jail with it. But that's gonna happen anyway, probably. No, I shouldn't make that a self-fulfilling prophecy. But what he said was that Advil, it's the same goddamn thing as ibuprofen, right? Ibuprofen's cheaper. It's like the raw form. It's without the brand name, you know. And he said that, you know, if you copy something or make something similar to something, then that's okay when you're selling a product, creating a product. But when you offer the exact same product, Advil is the exact same as ibuprofen, and almost like it should almost be illegal for you to do that and make profit off of it and stuff, something like that. That's what he said. But I don't know. You know, don't sue me. Don't put me in jail. I have some plans, different things, but ask for it. Okay, thanks. We'll go on to my next part of the video. Tasty low-calorie drink here. Mio berry pomegranate. 0 calories. Just take some water. You know, it's filled with ice, of course. Filled with ice there. Pour some water in. I do about 4 squirts. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mix it with a butter knife. Hey, I've got some bananas here. They're ripe, about to go bad. I'm going to use them for green smoothies. So they don't spoil, I'm going to throw them in the freezer. But I'm going to have to chop them in half. Normally I put them in whole. You know, you never want to put them in with the skin on, or else it's going to be a pain in the ass to take the skin off once they're frozen. Normally I put them in whole if I have bigger bags, but I just have these small bags, so I'm going to chop them out to pieces, break them in half. But Yeah. Also, if they're, they'll turn brown in the freezer always, but they're still good. It just means that the sugar's becoming available or whatever. But, and if you freeze them too, if you like your smoothies cold, I'm going to use these for green smoothies. You may not have to, put ice. Maybe I'll just skip the ice because, of course, these bananas will be like ice cubes. So just throw them in there. And we're going to pop them in the freezer afterwards. And again, they will have bananas on hand. They won't go bad. And they're great for smoothies. Fairly nutritious, I would say. And then also they add that sweetness to the green smoothies. Or if not green smoothies, whatever type of smoothie. We'll just throw that in the freezer. Thanks. I just got some stuff from a pharmacy and a gas station. I'll start up with the pharmacy drugstore. So, Boost, Original, Chocolate, meal replacement shakes, 10 grams, protein, 26 vitamins and minerals. Not too many calories, about 230 calories. Nice to, if you get snackish, to, so that you can have something to, with some calories, but doesn't, have too many calories, I guess. So, but this one has 237 milliliter bottles. Yeah. Now, I usually get whey protein powder. They did not have any at the pharmacy there, unfortunately. So I got this plant-based protein and Vega chocolate. This is $62 here. Pretty expensive, but it'll be good to mix into my oatmeal and stuff like that. Some extra protein. 5 winter mint gum. It's good for my role plays for ASMR, which I'm doing gum chewing and soft spoken. I think I have a good thing going. My favorite type of gum is 5. I like different flavors. I like the spearmint or whatever too, but it's getting some irritation shaving. So I got this Nivea aftershave. It's been a while since I've used aftershave balm. This one says with ocean extract, instant soothing. Yes, good. Plus, my nostril hair's out of control, unfortunately. Kind of poking out of my nose. It looks bad. So I got this Philips nostril hair trimmer. So I'll try this out. First time I've used a nostril hair trimmer, so I'll try this out soon. When I went to the gas station and I got a Rockstar strawberry lime, 0 sugar energy drink. Yeah. Got a Rockstar watermelon, 0 sugar energy drink. That's good too. I like 0 sugar. Full sugar is too many calories. Try to lose weight. Plus, it makes my teeth hurt. The sugar. And I got some jerky. This is Jack Link's original. It's cheddar cheese and jerky. There's another kind that I like better at the gas station, but it was in the refrigerator. The cheese strip was thicker, and so was the meat, but they stopped offering it for some reason. So this is actually on the shelf. Doesn't go bad for some reason. But, got that. This is good for, I think the protein is pretty good for dieting. Not too many calories, and the protein is good for dieting. It's important protein. Teriyaki Jack Link's jerky. Original Jack Link's jerky. Sweet and hot Jack Link's jerky. Yeah, good stuff. Thanks. Boiling hot water, of course. Cover it with a plate to keep the heat in. Tupperware with the lid would work better, but whatever. Let it steep for maybe 5 minutes. Okay, about 5 minutes have passed. Whey protein. This one's by the brand Dinah. Strawberry kiwi. Not my favorite, but it'll do. Put some of that in there. Just spoon out. Mix complex carbs from the oats, give you energy for a long time, slow digesting. Protein from the protein powder. Not too much fat, but you can get fat, of course, from other foods, from other meals later in the day. So it's a pretty good meal, easy to make, not too expensive. Thanks. Hey, just gonna make the first green smoothie I've made in a long time. Wasn't getting enough greens in my diet, unfortunately, so for a while. And that's no good. So I figured I'd do that. Now, banana. I like to wait until there's brown spots on the banana. Not on, actual, of course on the banana peel. But then it kind of means it's gonna be sweet and good. It's ripe. Frozen fruit. It looks like I got some pineapple there. It's just like, comes in a bag, frozen blueberries, strawberries, or something. But I'm not particular. Can be sometimes I just straight blueberries. Could be other types of frozen fruit. Sometimes it's just straight strawberries, whatever it is. But this is a mix. Frozen spinach. That's my greens. It looks like it's in puck form or something. A little snowy there. It's been a while since I opened the package. Been sitting in my freezer for a while. Gonna do some whole milk, 3.25% homogenized. I'm not dissing the brand. It's a good brand, Dinah. It's more of an economical or cheaper type of protein powder, I guess. But I'm not crazy about this flavor, strawberry kiwi burst here. But it's not too bad. I'll finish it off. And it's whey protein, which is from cow's milk, and is fast-acting protein. So I'm going to mix that up here in a sec. I'll show you. Always put the liquid in first, I would say. Helps for blending. Actually, maybe it's more needed when you're doing, this will get turned upside down, of course, this jar for the blender. I think maybe it's more necessary to put the milk in first, or liquid in first, when you're doing a typical blender where you don't turn it upside down, sort of thing. Typical blender jar. Bananas in. Just, well, however much, one protein scoop is probably enough, but frozen fruit. Frozen spinach. Uh-oh, will we have enough room? Hang on, wash out my hands. Put the jar on, lid for the jar. Tighten it up. Okay, good. Now let's see. Move you over here. And over here. Hang on a sec. Okay, here we go. Put this on there. Boom. It's a Ninja blender. It's good stuff. On. I forgot what to press. Let's try medium. see if it's blended enough. Lid off, fuck. Then on. Okay. Tastes pretty good. Texture seems okay. It's blended up nicely. Should be okay. Next. Yeah, you may have seen that recent video I did where I was a sales associate in a clothing store, an ASMR video, and in that video I was throwing my clothes on the floor, you know, after I was, and I'll show it now. It's just a big mess on the floor now. It kind of sucks, and I still haven't cleaned up. I've been too lazy. I had to fold all those clothes. Kind of sucks. So I'll have to get to that. And here's the supplements that I take every morning. I only take these once a day. I take a line probiotic gummies. I'm not necessarily brand particular. It could be kind of any brand, but I can take 2 of those, and it's got they help with making a good bacteria in your gut. It's supposed to help in some way, I guess. I'm not totally sure, but yeah. Vitamin D3. One of these helps for, especially in the winter when the sun's not shining so bright. Helps to increase mood because you get vitamin D from sunshine. It helps with your mood, but you can get it from supplements as well. B12, one vitamin B12. Not exactly sure what it does, but doctor said I was low on it, so take one of those. I'm normally take a fish oil, but couldn't find fish oil in the pharmacy, so I take omega-3 pill, or sort of capsule. Supposed to help with brain function, I guess. Take one of those. So I take these every morning. Yeah. All right, so here's where I got my name on the internet from. My name's simple. This is my Flatland BMX, and I'll show you. See? Simple. So, then we'll flip this guy over. Hang on a sec. See where it says Sulo. So that's the brand. But it's a Sulo Simple frame. So it's not the entire bike. Sorry, hope I'm not making you nauseous by moving the camera around too much. It's not the entire bike that is simple. It's just a frame, which is just this, you know, this main metal part here, down here, here. It's just a frame. So it's a custom built bike, you know. It started off as a street BMX, you know. It's not a street BMX anymore at all, but street BMX being, you know, jumping onto obstacles on the street and stuff like that. You know, jumping onto handrails, grinding on handrails, and bunny hopping, you know, off flat ground onto, you know, different objects and doing things like that. But I'm from a rural community, so there wasn't too many obstacles on the street, you know. That's more for New York City or big city thing, Winnipeg, whatever it is. So and I wasn't that good at street BMX either, but finally I realized that flatland should be a better option. You know, because any place where there's a flat piece of pavement or concrete or something, you can do flatland. And it's balancing tricks where you balance on one wheel, or basically, usually. and do spinning tricks or balancing tricks and stuff like that. And I might show you some more in the summer, but it's February now. I don't want to ride the bike on the snowy streets. It doesn't make sense, you know. But I think this is actually the second simple frame that I had, Sula Simple. I think the first one was actually a pink one. It was pink or purple. And then for some reason I forget what it was. Maybe it's the bottom bracket or something, which is this part here, you know. And there's different sizes. There's Spanish bottom bracket size, different size, European, American being the biggest, and something to do with that. I wanted a certain crank set or something. I forget what bottom bracket size this one has actually, but yeah. So this is, but you know, it's called a. So what it was is I started off with a Street BMX, and then you can actually buy an entire, you know, flatland bike. I think off of like the website I used to go off of was Flatland Fuel. I don't know if it's still around, but instead I just did this thing where I kept on, you know, I had a Street BMX, which is quite different than a flatland BMX. You know, I'll explain that in a bit later. But what I did is I kept on replacing the parts one after the other, from Street BMX parts to flatland parts, and then eventually, basically, I end up with almost an entirely new bike. You know, I would say, except for maybe the rims, like the wheels there, and but yeah, it's a pretty nice bike. Now it's the frame's called a Simple, but I think not positive because, and I talked about this before, so I bore you, but if I'm boring, talk about it anyway though. In flatland, the frames can be very complicated kind of thing, and they can have this weird shit where the top tube here and bottom tube are crisscrossed and stuff like that, like an X, making it easier to do certain tricks and stuff, like give you more room to do certain tricks, or maybe when the bottom tube is very curved, have a big curve and stuff like that. And now some flatland bikes I've seen, I've actually just have a regular, it's almost like a Street BMX frame, which would typically be almost like, you know, this is a very typical bike frame with no difference, you know. But here's, I think the only difference between, you know, the only way it's different, this bike frame, the simple bike frame, is right here, you know. See how it's, normally this down tube would come up a little, like it wouldn't be conjoined like this or whatever this is, you know. It would just come straight up like this and attach here, like a little bit lower, you know what I mean? And what this does, I think it gives room to get your foot underneath the frame and put it on the tire here to do certain tricks, you know. So that's why it's like that. But seeing as how it's almost, it's not a very complicated frame, I think they call it a simple, yeah, simple frame. But this bike, I'll tell you a little bit about it. You know, flatland bike, different than a Street BMX bike in a lot of ways, dirt jumping bike. The handlebars are basically like straight up and down, you know. They're not curved and stuff like that, because you want to be able to flip around your handlebars to do certain tricks. And you want it to be basically like the same way when it's flipped around as when it's regular. So there's no difference in how the bike feels and performs and stuff like that. And it makes it easier to pop up the back tire as well when you push forward on the handlebars and stuff. And of course this would be like this, of course, is the right way. Sorry, look. But and then the stem is on a flatland bike is shorter. Makes it easier. Again, like when you're flipping around the handlebars, there's not so much difference when you flip around the handlebars. Not a big. Street BMX would be a longer stem generally, you know. And pegs are grippy, you know, because you're not sliding on any handrails. You want to go on grippy pegs, grip with your feet so you have traction. You don't fall off them stuff. The tires, high PSI, pounds per square inch. You can put a lot of air into them. Higher the PSI, the better they're going to roll, you know, basically, without much effort, you know. The longer you be like, you know, you start rolling on your back tire, for instance, and you're going to be able to roll for a long time. You know, you bring the front wheel up and do a dork wheeler or something. You can be able to roll for a long time, as opposed to if you have 30 psi street tires and stuff like that, you know, which can offer more traction and stuff like that, I think in different ways, but, you know, that's the whole point. These are, what are these? Odyssey. It's a good brand, yeah. Odyssey tires. I kind of forget the brand. It's been a while. I haven't rode this for a while, you know. But, and it's got a small crankset. Another thing, Flatland. Dream BMX has the big crankset. You know, small crankset. You can accelerate quickly. The smaller the crankset is, basically. And that's what you want. It's about accelerating quickly. You know, bigger crankset, a bigger, what do you call it, cassette or whatever it is. This piece will give you a better top speed, you know, which of course is better for street or dirt jumping when you need to be going Mach 10 before you hit a jump or something, but, you know. But then there's this seat is pretty cool. A normal seat you'd have to adjust from the bottom, right, which is a pain in the ass. But this seat actually go right in there. Yeah. And you can, it's like, I think it's about the Allen key. Put your Allen key right in there, you can adjust the seat, Pretty sweet. And then, what else is there? It's pretty cool. These handlebars, see these grips, what do you call them? Are just O-rings, actually. I forget what brand, maybe ODI, I think. But they're actually individual O-rings that you slide on one at a time, you know. Regular grips, of course, is just like one piece. And then these are, you know, bar ends are a normal thing with BMX because you don't want the end of your handlebars to get all fucked up when you crash on the ground and stuff. You fall a lot, basically. If you're not falling, you're not learning. That's kind of a lesson of life, I would say, as well. But you don't want to fall too hard, you know. But these are actually, this is a step further. These are hitchhiker rings, you know. Basically, it's a certain trick when you're riding the bike almost upside down, which I could do before I, you know, quit BMX, basically, Flatland. But then your handlebars are basically like scraping on the ground, and your grips are all getting fucked up and stuff like that. And it's too much, it's too sticky too, and it fucks up the trick. You can't roll. But these you can slide, and on on the pavement, concrete on the rings, yeah, and you won't fuck up your grips as well and stuff like that, and you know, let's see, I think these are 48 spoke wheels, you know, which is a lot of spokes. That's typical for, I could be wrong, I'm not going to count them, but I think that's maybe typical for maybe a street BMX. You have a lot of spokes, right? You know, in other, you know, styles of bike, you have much less spokes. Of course, the more spokes you have, the heavier the wheel is, but I fall a lot where I did, so I wanted a lot of spokes because it's a stronger wheel. It gets less likely for the rim to get bent after crashes. But, or maybe it was just because I just continued over from my street BMX, and that's one thing I didn't feel like purchasing is new wheels or replacing it. Didn't feel necessary. But yeah, I mean, like Flatland typically just, it's about kind of making some guys, or not just guys, individuals just go crazy and get the lightest bike they possibly can, you know, like this. And then of course they get the less spokes on the wheels because, you know, you're not doing 20-foot gaps, jumps and stuff like that and landing and have to worry about fucking up your rims and bending them. But this bike frame is pretty light. I think it's only like 6 pounds, I think, this bike frame, you know. I think it's butted, meaning they take out, in the inside, they take out some of the metal on the inside of the frame, right, from this long piece. And then they put it at the ends. And that makes it, they can do that, you know, sacrifice some strength here, of course, but make the bike lighter, make the frame lighter, but they put it where it actually counts more, which is at the ends here, you know. That's the thing. This bike actually has no brakes, which I wouldn't recommend. No brakes on this bike, you know. So you kind of jam your foot in the back tire to stop it, which a lot of guys do, but I mean, yeah. I should really get a brake on this. Not sure, I guess I'll keep the bike, I'm not sure. Well, maybe I'll show you some tricks in the summer, but not that I'm too good. To get good at this, you have to like ride crazy hard all the time and stuff like that, and put so much dedication into it. Flatland's a very difficult sport, but lastly, before my camera's about to die, last thing is just think about a flatland bike is there's a free coaster hub. Meaning normally when you back the bike up, the cranks here, of course, will spin around backwards. That's just how it is, you know, without you doing anything. It's just how it works. And of course, when you're doing certain tricks, that gets in the way and it fucks it up, right? You're trying to do a certain trick and the cranks are moving around and they knock you off your bike or ram into your shin and shit like that. And but a free coaster hub, you pedal back. Yeah, fuck, my camera just died. I'm doing the whole handheld thing and battery in my camera just died. I guess I didn't think that I could plug it in. It still wouldn't cause that much of an issue if I have the cord plugged in. So I just plugged it in. Anyway, the free coaster hub, you know, can disengage when you pedal backwards a little bit. So let's try it out, see if it works. And so get this and then roll it back. Yeah, see, that's working. Yeah, I'm gonna run over my slipper here. Fuck. So much for preparation. As you can see, it's backing up. That crank isn't moving, right? It's just staying in place. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, I've been watching some Steve Will Do It. He just bought David Dobrik 2025 Ferrari Pro Sangue truck. Looks like for $650,000. It's pretty cool. That's nice of him. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.